following some breaking news now on President Trump's New York criminal trial. An appeals court has just thrown out the massive civil fraud penalty levied against the president by New York Attorney General Letitia James. She accused and convicted Trump of exaggerating his wealth.
Just a reminder here, this was a $515 million penalty we're talking about. Judge Andrew Napolitano, he's here on set to break it all down. Judge, big revelation today. Yeah. Take us through.
So just to clarify, this is not the criminal prosecution of Donald Trump in which he was convicted of 34 felonies for supposedly falsifying bookkeeping. This is the civil fraud action against Donald Trump. The allegations were that he exaggerated his wealth, and as a result of those exaggerations, got more favorable treatment from the banks.
Deutsche Bank case.
Right. Even though Deutsche Bank said we didn't lose a nickel and we would do business with him tomorrow. The penalty was $500 million. 5 minutes ago, the appellate division of the Supreme Court of the state of New York, which heard the appeals 7 months ago, said this penalty is so extraordinary it violates the provision of the Constitution of the United States, which prohibits cruel and unusual punishments. We're throwing it out. We are not necessarily throwing out the portion of the penalty that keeps a monitor in place to run the Trump organization, but we're throwing out the $500 million penalty. This is a tremendous victory for the president. In my view, this is a victory for the rule of law. Many of us, I among them, were harshly critical of this case because there was no victim. There should have been no prosecution. Trump quite properly said, this lady campaigned when she ran for attorney general. She's going to get me. She tried to get me. This is no way for the justice system to run.
That's what stands out to me. This is a knock on A.G. James.
Yes.
Quite frankly. Now she's got her own problems.
She's got her own problems. There's another level to this. We'll put aside the allegations about her own mortgage fraud. I don't know what's going to come of that. But federal prosecutors in Albany have subpoenaed the files of Letitia James to see if this case was brought in bad faith. If it was brought in bad faith, meaning because they hate him or they dislike him politically, then he, as the sitting president of the United States, has a civil rights claim against the state of New York.
So you talk about bad faith. What would constitute bad faith? Now, are they going to get into emails?
Yes.
And what would it be, like a line somebody wrote, like, we're going to get them?
Yes.
We're going to create this little concocted scheme? Like, is that what
Well, I don't know if they were foolish enough to put something like that in an email, but that, Bob, that is exactly what the feds will be looking for. What is the genesis and origins of this case? Was it the politics in the attorney general's head, or did somebody really file a complaint? We don't think he was worth the money he said he was worth. And not he was worth, that his real estate holdings were worth.
Well, even before you go inside internal communications, whether they're there or not, what was said publicly during the campaign of James? Could you use that against?
So maybe does it have to be more than that?
Right.
It would have to be more than that. It couldn't be political statements made before she was Attorney General alone. It could be political statements made before she was Attorney General plus her behavior in responding to those political statements once she became Attorney General, because the statute under which the feds are examining her requires the abuse of governmental authority, and that requires more than just political statements before entering office. So this is a monumental victory for the President of the United States personally, for the Trump Organization in New York City, one of the city's great landowners and real estate managers. An enormous setback for her, and if I may, a portent of things to come with respect to Attorney General James.
And remind me, Judge, had the president made payments on this verdict?
No, that is a great question. In order to file the appeal, the president had to post a bond, which is basically an insurance policy. Who would give him an insurance policy for $5 $500 million. He found a bank in California that gave him the insurance policy. Now he doesn't have to pay the premiums on that insurance policy anymore because the case against him is gone. Now the state's burden to decide if they want to appeal this to the New York Court of Appeals, which is the highest state court.
All right, well, let's get into that. First, we want to replay for everybody, remind them of what Tish James used to say while she was speaking out in public about getting the president here. Let's play it.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass.
I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president.
We need to focus on Donald Trump. We need to follow his money.
What is fueling my soul right now is Trump.
This illegitimate president. I look forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day, suing him.
All right, Judge.
So,
talk about that being in the bad faith there.
That was
as
said
we just
publicly.
discussed.
What are you going to say behind the scenes?
it will require, and I think they'll find it, official behavior undertaken in her capacity as Attorney General to comply with those frivolous statements, not because Trump did anything wrong, but because she wanted to please her political base. So what we're looking for here, and it's very rare that a prosecutor becomes a criminal defendant for abusing prosecutorial power.
Has it happened?
It has happened. Not with a state attorney general. It's happened with local prosecutors. It happened infamously in the Duke
LaCrosse.
in the Duke
That's
LaCrosse
right.
case,
It
where
was the DA, right?
The DA himself ended up being a defendant because he did what they're about to accuse, I think, Letitia James of doing, using the power of the state for some personal political purpose, not for the reasons for which you were entrusted with that power.
Wow. And the time spent, too, of the president, well, I mean, he would have been campaigning at that time, right? He had to show up in court.
Correct.
Of course, we got familiar with Judge Engeron as well, and how he decided to run the court. So that's time you can't get back. I mean, obviously it worked out in the president's favor. We won the election, and some might argue the lawfare against him was a motivating factor for some folks who were looking
I'm sure it did
for
energize some
candidates.
people.
So
But
I will get the opinion. It's very long, and I will read it for you.
Okay.
So I'll be able to have a better handle on it than what I've just given you. But I've given you the essence of it from my ability to
good.
speed read as best I can on something that's 3 inches by 5 inches in size.
Well, we appreciate
Technically,
it.
it's not over yet. She could appeal
Yes.
this. Okay.
Yes, she could. But as of today, he stops paying the premiums on that $500 million insurance policy.
Okay.
How about
I
that?
am
Sure, he's
sure
happy
we
about
will
that.
hear from him. He will be beaming over this,
yeah.
and rightly so.
All right. We've got producers who are